With Rob Lewis, Brent Hubbs, VolQuest.com. A little fast break as Tennessee beats Vanderbilt 70-58. The Volunteers get 20 points from Jaden Springer. They get 21 from Victor Bailey. Rob, that's kind of the highlights of the night for Tennessee when you look at this win. I don't want to take anything away from a win because they need wins. You can't lose this one, but this is one that Tennessee certainly did not impress anybody with.
No, and this, it was a shorthanded Vanderbilt team playing without Scottie Pippen Jr., the second or the third leading scorer in the SEC, playing without Dylan Desu, who is having a fantastic year. He's fifth in the league in scoring, leads the league in rebounding, was the SEC Player of the Week. A guy that Tennessee would have had a lot of problems with in the paint tonight. So, and despite not having all that firepower, Tennessee just couldn't shake him, and it was because mainly because of turnovers. Vanderbilt had a ton, 19. Tennessee had 17, so they just kind of canceled each other out. And they're 2 minutes left in the second half. It's a 6-point game.
Yeah, Tennessee turns it over too much. As you mentioned, they had an opportunity to really put them away, and they didn't. And then I look at Vescovi, Keon Johnson, and Josiah, 3 for 16 from the field. And then Fulkerson's in foul trouble. It was really dependent on Springer and Bailey to kind of carry this basketball team, down the stretch of this game, really the whole game, but particularly down the stretch.
Yeah, it was easily Keon's worst game offensively, without question. He had 6 turnovers, was 1 of 6 on the floor, and to his credit, I will say this for him: he didn't let that affect him on defense. He was still aggressive, locked in. Attitude and effort were there, and that's not the case with a lot of freshmen when they're having a night like that on offense. So I give him credit for that. But man, Springer he had 8 field goal attempts, 20 points. That's crazy efficient. Now, that's mainly due to the fact he was a perfect 10 for 10 at the free throw line. But to get 20 points when you go 5 of 8 from the field, you're not going to see that too many times. And Bailey's staying hot. I don't know if we can trust it yet, but man, he has been on fire these past 3 games. 16 and 26 from 3-point range.
Well, he's going to have to stay hot if this team's going to score, because Fulkerson cannot be reliable night in and night out. And Pons had 10 points on some dunks tonight, but still 0 for 3 from 3-point land. Shot selection still a little bit baffling, because I thought he could get to the rim tonight, post anybody up he wanted to, with Vanderbilt's lack of size and depth on the inside. I was surprised he didn't have a big night just playing in the paint.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think he is what he is at this point. And I also would take the green light away from 3. I know Rick will throw some numbers out there about what he does in practice and this and that. I just know what I'm seeing in games. I'm seeing a guy that's under 20% for the year.
Quick turnaround for Tennessee. They're going to get home middle of the night tonight/Thursday morning, then back on the road Friday to go to Auburn with a noon start. Down there on Saturday, not something that Rick Barnes is really looking forward to. What's the focal point for this team the next 24 to 36 hours to try to get themselves further down the road to getting right?
Well, I don't know how much you could really improve at this point in the season, but you got to clean up the turnovers. They're not, Tennessee is not good enough to give another team 17 extra possessions in a game just through their own miscues. That's, the numbers say that Tennessee is the best team in the SEC in terms of turnover margin, but boy, when they're bad, they're really bad. It doesn't seem to be the middle ground when it comes to the turnovers. They either have 8, 9, or 10, or 17 or 18. They don't do 12, 13, kind of mediocre. They either really take care of it, or they just crap the bed.
Tonight, Tennessee turns it over too much. They don't shoot it great, but they find a way to beat a shorthanded Vanderbilt team. 70-58 is the final score, and we'll see what this Tennessee basketball team looks like on Saturday against Auburn. That's going to do it for this edition of The Fast Break. For Rob Lewis, I'm Brent Hubbs, VolQuest.com.